Hello guys, and welcome to the second video of our smoking tutorial series. Thank you for tuning in again. My name is Thomas, also known as Blubby, and in this advanced guide we're going to cover the different types of smokes you can use to create an advantage for your team on the defending side. This video is aimed at experienced players, so if you're a beginner, make sure to check out our smoking fundamentals guide first to get you up to level. Generally speaking, there are two incentives to use your smokes on the defending side. Either reactive to counter your opponent's actions, for example during a side execute, or proactive to initiate plays yourself, such as taking aggressive control of areas on the map and safely gathering information. However, there are different types of smokes and ways to play out each scenario, and which approach is the best in the moment really depends on your enemy's team comp and playstyle. So let's look at the different types of smokes there are and plays you can create with them on defense. First off, there's the default smoke that you already know if you've watched part 1 of the series. This smoke is usually going to be placed reactively in the choke point in front of the opponents trying to execute side, denying vision from them and opening them up to many angles when they push out. This smoke is very useful to delay the opponents and allow your defending teammates on side to fight, even if they are technically outnumbered, and is usually a first go-to smoke to use on CT as it is very useful and quick to place. You will want to use this smoke when the enemy team tends to execute fast and makes proper use of their utility to clear out aggressive smokes and close positions. Now, sometimes just default smoking the choke point is not enough. A coordinated team can use their utilities such as pop flashes to collectively push out the smoke and overrun your outnumbered teammates. So, what other options do you have when you seemingly can't hold a side? Another great type of smoke you can do with pretty much any controller is a one-way. Properly placed, this type of smoke will allow your teammates to see your opponents without being spotted themselves, allowing for safer holds and easy kills should the opponents just run through. To make this work, you'll want to place the smoke center either on top of elevated structures, like this brick wall on a main, or inside specific walls, so it gets stuck in there without fully dropping to the ground, allowing you to see your opponent's legs before they can see you. An important principle to be aware of if you want to use one-ways in your games is how your distance and perspective relative to the smoke affects your field of view, as well as your opponent's field of view. The further away from the smoke you are, and the closer to the smoke they are, the more the angle advantage is going to favor you, allowing you to see them while they can't see you. If the one-way is placed in an elevated position, the player holding it from lower ground will have the advantage. Make sure to check out our angle advantage short if you require further information on this topic. Now, one-ways can be used in several ways, either proactively to control space early on in the round, or reactively to defend important positions. A great example for a proactive use would be this one-way on Ascent A main. It allows the defenders to safely hold A main and take a sneaky position in Wine, unless the attackers commit a lot of their resources to take it back. A great reactive one-way to use would be this one on A short. You will usually have enough time to set this up if you have a mid player that is holding catwalk and gives out information. This one-way basically makes it impossible for your opponents to get into A short, creating huge control value for your team. So, one-ways can create a lot of value, but they're also quite difficult and precise to set up, and they don't do anything for your team after your opponents made it to the other side of the smoke. So you should set proactive one-ways up pre-round, and only use reactive one-ways when you're actually sure you can place them in time. Well, the opponents are playing really aggressive, and they always seem to be able to just rush on side before your team can even place their utility to help the defending side players. So how do you stop these hyper-aggressive teams? One-ways are often too slow to set up, but there are some useful adjustments you can make to your smoke placements and playstyle that will help you. In this scenario, when they're pushing in, it can be really good to play inside your own smoke to surprise the first enemy player and get an important entry kill, as they typically won't have the time or patience to clear the smoke with utility. It can also be valid to intentionally place your default smoke deeper inside to create off angles around it for yourself or your teammates, to catch the opposing players off guard, forcing them to start clearing positions with utility and play slower in the future. Another approach if they're just bursting through your defenses is to use side smokes instead of smoking the choke point they're just going to run through anyways. This will give yourself and your teammates more room and new angles to play around on side, and put more pressure on the enemy team as they need to clear these smokes before they can plant. Playing Retake is a bit of a special situation. When retaking the bomb site, you, the defenders, must now aggressively retake site control. So at first you will want to smoke off the common defending angles, usually choke points leading into the side, or place smokes that allow your team to enter the site without opening themselves up to more than one angle at once.
Backside. 80. Nice.
A great example for that would be this Heaven Smoke in Ascent A. It allows your team to peek side angle by angle, drop down to Jenny unseen, and even gives you a one-way for the attackers playing under Heaven after you've dropped. Something to focus on with this smoke is to make sure to leave a gap for Heaven, or your opponent could easily play behind this wooden box to catch your team off guard. There's a special case on Retake. After you've regained side control and the remaining defenders are playing offside, it can be very beneficial to smoke them off if their position is known, or even just smoking the bomb itself if it's not, or if they are playing split positions, to deny their vision on the defusing player. This will put pressure on them, thus forcing them to either blindly spray at the bomb, or to push out of the smoke to prevent the defuse, making them easier targets either way, and denying them isolated duels. At the end of the day, which type of smoke you should use in each scenario and what kind of plays you should initiate with them really comes down to analyzing your opponent's playstyle and the current round state. If they play really fast but skimp on proper utility usage, you can abuse this by playing in and around your smokes to catch them off guard. If they're playing slow and methodical, you can use the extra time you have to prepare high value smokes, such as one-ways to get yourself or your team in highly advantageous positions when defending space or taking map control. On Retake, adapt the type of smokes you use depending on the current situation to either isolate your opponents and enable your team to successfully retake side, or to deny their vision on the bomb and put pressure on them to force them out. It all comes down to your specific situation in-game. That is all I have for you regarding advanced smokes on defense. In the final part of the series, we're going to talk about properly using your smokes on the attacking side and advanced plays you can create for yourself with them. Make sure to check that out as well once the video is released.